Rooster, greetings from the grave. Don't look so surprised. Didn't you know your great-grandfather was a honky?
So, 80s fans, you think you've seen it all. Okay, DeBarge, get a load of this.
It's hot, it's wild!
It's I Love the 80s 3D, and this is 1985. The flicks.
I love Super 8.
The fashions. The trends. The TV.
Ready to have some fun?
He knew how to paint a landscape like it was nobody's business.
The tunes. Coming at you in brain-frying 3D. A totally awesome year that gave us these burning questions. Who doesn't love My Buddy?
The thing I like about My Buddy is that he's hairless, smooth between the legs. What?
Is Sally Field gonna explode?
What I remember was sort of her like being this like shaky chihuahua. You like me? You really like me?
The answers to those questions, plus Mick and David go prancing in the streets.
We're dancing in the street.
And the excruciating fun of eating Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, God.
Because you love the 80s. Because you're still rocking My Buddy.
My buddy.
Admit it, this is 1985 in 3D. Getting all up in your face.
I love the 80s.
3D.
I love the 80s. I love the 80s.
3D.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross.
I loved the joy of painting.
You ready to have some fun?
The joy of painting with Bob Ross is like having a fish tank in your home.
Let's take black, some Prussian blue.
Maybe a little of the Van Dyke brown.
The premise of the show was that he was going to teach you how to paint and that he would do a painting in a half hour.
That's what I like about painting. You can experience any world that you want.
What does this TV show cost to produce? A nickel?
Put as many clouds in your world as you want.
He was the modern-day Picasso.
At first sight, Bob Ross, you think, uh-oh, damn dirty hippie.
He was so mellow. You'd figured that he sparked up a big doobie right before he started painting.
Bob, 5 minutes. Oh, okay.
Shoot, that was fun. I'm gonna do it one more time.
He knew how to paint a landscape like it was nobody's business.
You just have a blank canvas. Next thing you know, something outdoorsy.
Let's have a big mountain that lives up here in our world.
Very few human beings in Bob Ross paintings. Why? Because people are scum.
All right.
And he had this sort of disconcerting, very sweet, low voice.
You ready? Let's get crazy.
Bob Ross was maybe the gentlest man we have ever produced as a species.
This is where you take out all your frustrations and hostilities.
A man who wanted nothing more than to teach all of us how to paint happy trees.
Maybe there was a happy little tree.
One big evergreen tree. And when we said big, today we mean big.
A little boy getting mauled by a bear.
And he was like talking to the paintbrush. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. There. Whew. I didn't realize how big that tree was.
Remember, this is your world. There are no mistakes in your world. If it looks like that's your problem.
There we are.
You'd watch him start, and 30 minutes later, there was this crazy painting.
Okay.
It was fine. It looks like any other crap sitting in the mall.
You try taking a putty knife and throwing some burnt umber on there and see what you get. He got an entire mountain vista. What I get is it looks like I had the runs on canvas.
We'll call that a finished painting. Hope you enjoyed this one. From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy painting. And God bless, my friend.
I love 85.
These are the monster trucks that everyone's talking about.
Monster
Truck Rally. Experience the heavy horsepower of these spectacular machines. Be there, be there, be there.
Be there, be there, be there.
Monster Truck Extravaganza! Race fans, hot rodding!
It's hot, it's wild.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday! The Pontiac Silverdome.
The monsters will rock and roll.
It was a voiceover, but you knew the guy's head was going.
The monster truck phenomenon took off in the 80s. That's pretty much part of the religion where I'm from. 4x4x4. Japan is good at taking things and making it smaller, and we're good at making it bigger and stupider.
The
there's this whole industry now that happened because one guy said, what if I put big tires on the truck?
It's just adrenaline. It's just a quick rush.
Driving this thing around and squashing old beat-up Ford Granadas was exciting to people.
What was that? You know, that was a town of 400. Oh, that was insane. Let's put it in an arena and charge people.
It's like Redneck-a-Palooza.
You see that car? I'm gonna smash it.
This truck would come and like drive over some cars really slow, like. Where's the Sunday? Where's the fire? Where's the excitement?
Battle of the monster trucks.
You'll see Bigfoot.
If Bigfoot wasn't there, then you didn't even bother.
You got to give your props to Bigfoot because he's the original.
My favorite monster truck was called High School Drama Puss.
These are the biggest, meanest monster machines ever created.
They're barefoot, grave digger,
The Asian Crusher, and more.
Who is that guy?
people are stupid.
Mick Jagger, David Bowie dancing in the street, shaking their little skinny tuckuses around. I hated it. Calling out around the world.
Are you ready for a brand new beat?
Summer's here and the time is right. We're dancing in the street.
It's like the Lips versus No Lips. It was amazing.
What happened was they met each other at a party.
They probably wanted to get their yayas on and nothing to do that day.
Let's make a record together. All right, let's go do dancing in the street. Okay.
Those two guys were at the peak of their homosexuality in that video.
There were a lot of close-ups on their butts.
It seemed a little bit odd to have these two grown men so close to each other it looked like they were about to mate, but then of course their spawn would be pretty amazing.
When those guys get caught like in bed with each other, obviously they weren't only dancing.
People say the same thing about us, but lying in bed is just the most comfortable place for us to write comedy. Does it mean anything? What trying to say?
It doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there.
We're almost kissing.
Every guy grab a girl, everywhere around the world.
Do they kiss?
We're dancing in the street. I love 85.
Cooking sherry. Oh no, it's obsession.
Between love and madness lies obsession.
The obsession ads were so risque. The ads, they were really hot and really sexy.
She inflamed my senses. Everyone in the 80s on television was screaming at us. And Obsession was like,
Obsession, obsession, obsession.
And everyone's like, what?
How could so much love do so much damage?
It was just a lot of attractive androgynous people whispering obsession.
Obsession.
And it's even sexier when I whisper it.
Or women, or both.
It was the most pretentious advertising campaign on the face of the earth.
In the kingdom of passion, the ruler is obsession.
I remember it being so abstract.
The ads made no sense at all.
She was a fever from which I will never recover. I don't know who she is, but anyway, I'll never recover from her.
We had to put up with nothing comes between me and my Calvins, and then this.
Members of the jury, the accused stands before you on trial for his sins.
Forgive me, I've loved you all.
Whatever. Off.
Is that a rocket in your pocket? Or is that obsession?
Have a banana monkey.
I rest my case.
It was just trying to make people go like, what?
Do you know the way to San Jose?
And then there'd also be a group of people who'd be like, oh, I totally get it.
If living with obsession is a sin, let me be guilty.
So true. Let me be guilty and spank me.
I love 85.
Coming up, who's that wacky white boy with a jerry curtain?
I'll tell you what I really liked about Weird Al. The perm.
Plus, somebody in Rocky's camp ought to test Drago's pee.
Drago was definitely a juice.
I must break you.
Next on I Love the 80s 3D, 1985. But first, movies that should have been made in 3D.
Hey, 3D fans! Weird Al Yankovic here, practically jumping out of the TV and into your living room with the movies that should have been made in 3D for 1985. Gotcha. How could they do a movie about paintball and not have it in 3D? What a waste! It would have won an Academy Award for sure. And of course, Witness. In 3D, the Amish would still be plain and simple folk, but they'd be plain and simple in your face! And there you have it, the movie that should have been made in 3D for 1985. Because 2 dimensions just aren't enough!
Paula Abdul here, bringing you the teen eyes that packed the pages of Tiger Beat back in 1985. Michael J. Fox. I go back in time for him. Val Kilmer. Real genius. Real hunk. Matthew Modine. He can take me to the mat. Those were the teen eyes of 1985. No cold-hearted snakes here.
You're saying you trashed my brother Scooter.
You're talking about the Legend of Billie Jean.
Legend of BJ.
Legend of BJ.
I thought it was the Legend of Billie Jean King.
Do you see Legend of BJ 2, Dirty Debutantes?
Wall-to-wall BJ.
You pig.
It's a good movie.
Ellen Slater is the avenging sister of Christian Slater, whose scooter has been stolen.
The bill is for the scooter. This is for drinks.
Woo! Right from the start, the stakes are very, very high.
I want the $608, and I want Mr. Pott to give it to me.
They become outlaws, and the kids around the country are going crazy.
Can I have your autograph?
That's who we're with? What's wrong with you, man? Pay her!
Cuts all her hair into this kind of butch Avenger thing.
Turn the camera on.
It's like, hey, who are you to tell me that I can't cut my hair now?
When you become a vigilante, you do have to, in fact, cut your hair.
This goes out to Billie Jean.
She turns into this, like, folk legend, and all of a sudden everybody's screaming, fair is fair! Fair is fair!
We didn't start this. We didn't mean for it to happen.
This very sort of Nuremberg rally thing over the scooter.
Fair is fair!
Fair is fair. Cut my hair.
Billie Jean said I could come. Don't move.
Yeardley Smith, better known as the voice of Lisa Simpson.
Lisa Simpson is very upset about the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeardley Smith is just covered in blood, and you think, oh my God, she got shot.
Oh, my God, you're bleeding!
No, turns out she just got her period.
It's wonderful.
You know, it'd be weird, like, doing like a sex scene with Yeardley Smith.
When can I get a diaphragm?
Pat Benatar, Invincible, that was the theme song. Oh!
I think some hairband tried to sue her. They were like, you took our yeah! She was like, no, my yeah! It's more like, yeah!
Keep your money. Go buy somebody else.
The moral to Billie Jean is that you should just take the law into your own hands and look good while doing it.
Okay, well, let's get on with it.
1985 was a huge year for Phil Collins with No Jacket Required.
My friend Tom used to call the album No Talent Required.
I am a Phil Collins fan. I like his voice. It's comforting.
Phil Collins can write a song, that's for sure. He's badass.
Hated Phil Collins.
I must break you.
I cringe when I hear him sing.
Now, baby! That was my favorite.
Cause you're not anywhere that I can find you.
Who's Billy? It was an autobiographical song about him calling Billy Joel to get tips on being an unattractive solo artist.
Phil Collins definitely was not a member of the Hair Nation.
Thank you. Don't mention it.
He decided bald is beautiful.
And if you can imagine the pressure he was under to put some kind of wig on it, he didn't do it.
There's a tune called Susudio.
Susudio was like a kick-ass, dance record.
There's a girl who's been on my mind.
Susudio.
I don't know what the hell Susudio is.
Now she don't even know my name, but I think she likes me just the same. Susudio.
It's supposed to be somebody's name. Maybe in Italian. Susudio.
Her name is Sue, and her last name is Studio. She must be one hell of a girl.
I don't know what he was thinking, but it was a good song.
Oh!
Hey!
Monday Night Football when Joe Theismann broke his leg.
It's one of the most gruesome moments in sports history, and it was live on one of the most watched programs.
Joe Theismann is a quarterback for the Washington Redskins. Lawrence Taylor, LT, who's a linebacker for the Giants, rushes the ball.
Heisman is under the center. He takes the snap. He drops back. Coming from his right side is Lawrence Taylor, the meanest man in football. Oh!
Let's see it from another angle. LT hits him in the leg. Woo! Oh! And snaps his leg at a 45-degree angle.
That had to hurt.
I must break you.
It was as if you could hear it.
There was actually a sound.
That was effed up. Even with the mute button on, you could hear that snap. Nothing has sounded so terrible at a football game until Ashley Simpson at the Orange Bowl.
LT, who was one of the most vicious players ever to play the game, starts freaking out.
LT jumped up and he was like, hey, come here.
That reaction, Lawrence Taylor was Academy Award winning.
He probably felt real bad about it. Probably went home and cried.
Lawrence Taylor, he plays this game as clean as anyone can play it. He is visibly upset.
He needed a hug.
Quit your crying. Get back in the game. It's too bad that LT didn't break his leg, because if LT would have broke his leg, he probably wouldn't have felt it because he was so high on coke.
That was also a critical moment for sports television. How many times should we show it?
What? Whoa!
They showed it about 60,000 times.
Amazing, all these years later, I can still feel that.
That's the way we do it. Welcome to the NFL, fool.
My Buddy. Is it called Your Buddy? No, it's called My Buddy. So keep your hands off.
My buddy from play school is a rough and tumble playmate who sticks by a guy wherever he goes.
Everybody sang the song. My buddy,
my buddy.
Wherever we go, he's gonna go.
He's a little boy's best friend. He's my buddy.
If I have any black clout card left, this is going to make me lose it.
My Buddy was the doll that was okay for boys.
Big enough to kind of hang out with and not feel like as much of a loser. You don't want to talk to a Barbie doll. You want to talk to a buddy. Buddy?
This is a toy for children. It's also a therapeutic tool for pedophiles.
Michael Jackson bought 30,000 of them. Goes through them like toilet paper.
It appeared to be learning disabled.
My buddy.
And you could take off all of its clothes, so it was very vulnerable.
I don't know what to do when I got white babies in my hand.
The thing I like about my buddy is that he's hairless, smooth between the legs. What?
He looks a little bit like Chucky. He doesn't have the crazy face, but he certainly has the hair in the body.
I never wanted to play with my buddy because it scared me. I'm uncomfortable.
Every doll's a little freaky if viewed through the wrong prism. Every doll is a friend when viewed through the right prism. My buddy is a friend.
Now, there wasn't only my buddy. My buddy had a female companion.
Kid sister.
Kid sister. Kid sister. Kid sister. Kid sister.
Kid sister for the chicks, for the ladies. Hey.
Hey, kid sister. Hi, my buddy. You ever played the game Incest? Then it got a little weird when they came out with Strange Uncle. Strange Uncle. Strange Uncle.
For a very long time, girls had dolls. Boys had guns. In the 80s, we started giving dolls to boys. 20 years later, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. Put it together.
Coming up, Bernard Goetz welcomes folks to the New York City subway system.
He pulled out a .38 caliber and shot them all.
People say New Yorkers are rude.
Plus, why repetition is the key to a good comedy.
Doctor. Any word's funny if you say it over and over again. Jelly.
Sphincter.
Hangnail.
Next on I Love the 80s 3D, 1985. But first,
Chuck Woolery here with the best on-screen hookup of 1985. Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson in The Breakfast Club. She's a prom queen who enjoys sushi. He's the guy your mother warned you about in the bane of Richard Vernon's existence. These two defied the odds, proving that opposites attract and that anything's possible when it comes to love connections and John Hughes movies in the 80s. There you have it. Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson, the best on-screen hookup of 1985. See you in 2 and 2.
Hello, darling. Elvira here with the biggest boobs of 1985. No, get your mind out of the gutter, would you? I don't mean these boobs. I am talking about David Lee Roth. Now, with Van Halen at the peak of their success, Roth naturally decided to quit the legendary band and go solo. Now, without Dave, the band got even bigger, and Dave, well, he was just a gigolo. proving two things. Your spandex can be too tight, and never, ever screw with Eddie Van Halen. Here's to you, David Lee Roth, the biggest boob of 1985. And I'm an expert.
I love 3D.
Weird Al Yankovic. What can be said about the man that hasn't already been said?
I never understood Weird Al.
By the mid-'80s, America was finally ready for an accordion player to step up on the national stage and rock the house.
Was I a big Weird Al Yankovic fan? Not really.
Weird Al is the man.
I loved Weird Al. He was awesome.
I'll tell you what I really liked about Weird Al. The perm.
Weird Al. What are you doing? He's just so fun and goofy and likable, and he comes up with these brilliant parodies.
I lost on Jeopardy.
Baby. Yankovic. That's his real name. That was a name like that. Wouldn't you be weird?
Can you do that? I think Eat It's gotta be the best song.
I wrote Eat It because I wanted to buy a house. It worked.
Get yourself an egg and beat it. Yeah.
Eat this. Oh. You remember that he breathed on the camera?
That video really did look like the Michael Jackson video. He had a red Beat It jacket on, and he had the Jerry curl.
It's hot.
That's not a Jerry curl. That's the way I really look.
Hopefully he didn't have nothing to do with Mike touching them boys.
Weird Al Yankovic proves that you gotta be good looking to make it in music.
I don't know if he would have any groupies.
Did I follow Weird Al from fairground to fairground? I might have. We call ourselves Yankers. We go to Al shows, wear the Hawaiian shirts. I had a Lee press-on mustache. Was I obsessed? No. Yes.
He did that Madonna parody.
Oh, like a surgeon.
Like a surgeon.
Cut for the very first time.
That's genius. Who comes up with that?
Like a surgeon. Organ transplants are my life.
He's like, slithering around like Madonna.
For a few months after I did Like a Surgeon, people would stop me in the street thinking I was Madonna.
He broke the barrier for making fun of something in a really smart way.
Weird Al's going down in history.
He will take you on trips, man, and you just go into an astral plane that you did not know existed.
Just One of the Guys, classic 80s movie where Terry, who's a girl, fakes being a guy when she transfers schools because she wants to get an article published in a school newspaper.
You don't think I can do it, do you?
This is one of the movies that would come on late at night that would actually show boobies and get me really excited.
Oh, God.
We had so much fun making that movie.
She was always wearing these big layers of clothes. I didn't think that she needed to wear all the crazy skinny ties.
She looked a little bit like Ralph Macchio, which was kind of creepy.
And then she had that weird voice where she's like, hey, I'm just a guy.
Yo, here we are, couple of guys.
Because all boys talk like this.
This is what you call typical male bonding.
What is this voice? Who are you?
We all make mistakes.
Everyone thought she was a boy until she fell in love with another boy at the school.
Yeah, Rick Morehouse.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
She fell in love with this guy Rick, who just was like her friend and looked 37 even though he was still in high school.
Oh, so that's what it is.
Let me see you scratch your balls.
There's the ball scratching scene.
Wait a minute.
This is just a form of mild masturbation.
Sometimes you gotta get inside. Dig a little.
I have a great unit.
Maybe my balls don't itch. All balls itch, it's a fact.
The evil jock of the school played by William Zabka.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was the bad guy in Karate Kid. He was the bad guy in Back to School. He plays the to a T.
He was the best ass of the 80s.
You are an ass.
The great name Zabka.
Oh, I remember the climactic ending scene where she reveals that she is not one of the guys.
She was dressed as a boy at the prom, and she wanted to prove to him that she was a girl.
Ended up being a very famous scene.
Those can't be. Take those things down? That's a crime.
The guy had nice.
I may have gotten my first boner at that exact moment. I have one now.
All right, baby.
I did it. I went. I pulled my shirt open.
Wait a minute, are those what I think they are?
And the rest is history.
Where do you get off having
Bernhard Goetz is being held in isolation in a New York jail this morning. Goetz was arraigned yesterday after confessing to the vigilante-style shooting of 4 youths.
He was the original subway vigilante.
Bernhard Goetz got on a subway.
Mild-mannered fella, sitting in the subway car, minding his own. Couple of young toughs come up, demand money. One pulls a screwdriver.
He gave him something, but it wasn't money. He pulled out a .38 caliber and shot them all.
I must break you.
That's the wrong guy to ask for money on the subway.
I think Bernie was watching too many of Charles Bronson's movies.
I wanted to kill those guys. I wanted to maim those guys.
Definitely ripping off Death Wish.
I wanted to make them suffer in every way I could.
He actually shot 4 guys.
That's a little subway rage.
That guy had a hair trigger, didn't he?
When one of the kids was on the ground already shot, Bernie Goetz said, "You don't look so bad, let me give you another."
People say New Yorkers are rude.
This started a rage in New York.
I doubt very seriously, sir, that if those youths had been white, he would have acted similarly.
A lot of people at that time were saying, "Good for you, Bernie."
I don't think he's guilty.
Why not?
Because he didn't really do anything wrong.
Shoot. Ask questions later.
You know what? In his defense, he was having a bad day. His girlfriend broke up with him. He did not win the lottery. Ed McMahon did not come to his house. So, of course, he's going to shoot people.
Judge Crane has dismissed all of the very serious charges with regard to Mr. Goetz.
Bernie Goetz didn't go to jail?
Oh, my God. Can you believe it?
He got away with that jerk off. I get mad at white kids on the train all the time.
What I learned is, don't bring a screwdriver to a gunfight.
Oh, Sour Patch? Oh, do you need some water? Sucker.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
I love Sour Patch Kids. They were candy with sour coating that at first tasted sour and then later on tasted sweet.
Both dynamics made it the best.
They tasted like something that your grandma would have left in her candy jar for a month.
Sour Patch Kids the candy kind of made you look like Cabbage Patch Kids the doll after you ate them.
Oh, God.
Mommy, I want a candy that will cause me physical pain.
I actually have kind of a masochistic streak, so I love Sour Patch Kids.
So I don't know where the hell Sour Patch Land is.
Sour Patch is just north of the Shire, west of the lands of Rohan.
The Sour Patch was actually a toxic waste dumping ground for the Cabbage Patch Kids.
It's always good to end the day with a nice gummy bear covered in sour sugar. So healthy.
I Love 85.
Coming up, the totally awesome premise of Brewster's Millions.
You have 30 days in which to spend $30 million.
It's not allowed to buy a house. It's not allowed to buy white slaves, which is the first thing I would do.
And how Sally won over the Academy.
I'm going to humiliate myself. I'm not going to be able to pull this off.
Academy voters, when I was each and every one of you, I felt that I didn't have your respect, but now you like me. You really like me.
Next on I Love the 80s 3D, 1985. But first, the hot moms of 1985.
Hi, I'm Alan Thicke, and I appreciate sexy ladies, so here are my picks for the hot moms of 1985. Leah Thompson in Back to the Future. I got all the time in the world for her. Remember Cher in Mask? When she straddled that Harley, I got a bono. And Kelly McGillis from Witness. She could make your butter churn. Those are the hot moms of 1985. Hey, ladies, who's your daddy?
Hi, I'm Emmanuel Lewis. It's time to get your thinking caps on. This is the pop culture term of 1985. Dweeb. Now, a person regarded completely oblivious, a loser, or a nerd. This person is often stereotyped as skinny, overly intelligent, and probably sporting a pocket protector. For example, he was such a dweeb, she wouldn't dream of kissing him. Now that was a pop culture term of 1985. Now you've been schooled.
Brewster, greetings from the grave. Don't look so surprised. Didn't you know your great-grandfather was a honky?
Love Brewster's Million.
Richard Pryor. Does it get any better?
That's probably one of the top 5 best premises that a movie's ever had.
What I'm about to tell you may come as quite a shock.
Brewster's Millions was about Richard Pryor as a struggling baseball player who has a rich white uncle who dies.
You have 30 days in which to spend $30 million.
He spends that $30 million. He gets $300 million.
But after 30 days, you're not allowed to own any assets.
He's not allowed to buy a house. He's not allowed to buy white slaves, which is the first thing I would do.
It's gotta be a catch.
He needed a receipt for every transaction.
I'm gonna be a little crazy for a while, but I'm not crazy. People gonna think I'm crazy. You stick with me, you're my buddy.
John Candy was his buddy. His name was Spike.
Can I say something to all the people who thought I was a loser, Chuck?
At first, he thinks it's just going to be a good time.
What are you gonna do with all that money?
Spend it!
But by the end of it, he's just sick of it. Richard Pryor always has that look like, God, this is crazy. The real Richard Pryor could have found a way to spend $30 million in 30 days without a problem. He did a stunt that I thought was so fly.
I'd like to see your most expensive stamp.
He bought this antique stamp and used it to mail something.
God, it's not an asset anymore. He mailed it.
I was like, that's a pimp move right there.
And then that homeboy that was hating with the glasses.
Welcome aboard, Warren.
I played a lawyer who's, of course, trying to get him to fail.
You remember the $20,000 that you gave me as a deposit on the furniture? Well, here it is.
I would whip him out.
Good night. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
I got to play a real jerk.
Now that was a real ass.
Try to spend $30 million with no assets whatsoever.
I don't think I'm gonna pull this off.
I think I could do that in Vegas. Gambling? Bango.
Internet porn's cost me a lot this week.
$30 million hookers. You just go rent tons of stuff.
I rented a home stadium.
Is this Johnny's Diamond Boats? I'd like to rent a diamond boat for an hour.
I hereby declare that the $300 million is yours.
All I could think about was going to fall down. I'm going to humiliate myself. I'm not going to be able to pull this off.
Sally Field won her second Oscar for Places in the Heart. She may have been up for one in Smokey and the Bandit Part 3, but she got snubbed.
That Sally Field speech was memorable because any real, honest display of genuine human emotion is always deserving of our mockery.
I must break you.
When she won that Oscar, the speech was just, I don't know, a little bit needy.
She voiced the absolute truest meaning of insecurity.
What I remember was sort of her like being this like shaky chihuahua, like, I just can't, you like me, oh, you really like me, you really like me.
No, we don't, bitch.
And to those who don't, you. I have this now.
Sort of halted by this ridiculous, don't look like a jerk feeling.
She couldn't control herself. She was thrilled.
I think she's a great actress, absolutely. And she likes me. She really likes me.
If I won the Oscar, it would be, I would probably have the same exact reaction. Mine would be utter shock and maybe a little disgust. You like me? You really like me?
In some ways, I really wanted the Academy and the people that I have respected all my life to know how important it was to me.
Academy voters, in the months leading up to this ceremony, when I was each and every one of you, I felt that I didn't have your respect, but now you like me. You really like me.
Oh, Javard! Rhythm of the night.
Yeah. The rhythm of the night. That's what they used to call me. That's the kind of song you listen to at a high school dance, and you'd be like, baby, I'll show you what El DeBarge is all about.
This guy that I had a crush on, we were on his scooter listening to El DeBarge. Yeah, those were good days.
When El DeBarge sings, everybody starts dancing.
Look, my hands automatically go into here like a little velociraptor.
Oh!
Dancing in the moonlight. Forget about the words on your mind. We can leave them all behind.
Did Janet Jackson marry one of them?
That was his brother, James DeBarge.
He looks just like him. So it's like Janet was married to El DeBarge.
El DeBarge. You want to think it's a group, but it's a man's name.
Who names their child
El. What is that, like a Spanish dump boat?
Where's the boat? You mean the El DeBarge?
El DeBarge had this little Pepe Le Pew mustache.
He had like the long, curly, shiny hair.
Like Eric LaSalle in Coming to America with all that Jerry curl juice hanging off his collar.
He was certainly a poor man's Michael Jackson on his best day.
Hey, girly guy with the long Jerry curl. Could you shut that up, man?
Every minute you don't tell us why you're here, I cut off a finger.
Mine or yours? I love Spies Like Us.
Are you kidding?
Chevy Chase.
Emmett Fitzhugh.
Dan Aykroyd.
Austin Milbarge.
Two Nudniks, if I may.
You want some coffee? That's a good idea.
They're playing spies. That's all I remember about the movie.
They get chosen to go on this top secret mission.
We've got a very special assignment for you two. Foreign service? Yes.
But little do they know that they're really the decoys.
Decoys? Spies Like Us is directly from the lineage of the old Bob Hope, Bing Crosby road movies, as was Ishtar. To less positive effect.
The part where they're cheating on the test.
Chevy got his arm in a sling, but his other arms are clearly visible, and they're cheating off each other.
And Chevy Chase takes something out of his tongue and get an eye patch on, too.
Get the answers right there.
There's a classic scene where Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd are pretending to be doctors.
Aren't you Dr. Trowbridge and Greenberg?
Yeah, sure, that's us. We're doctors.
As doctors do, they introduce themselves.
Doctor.
And doctor.
Any word's funny if you say it over and over again. Jelly, sphincter, butter, hangnail. Any word's funny.
Am I interrupting?
No, not at all. He was just on his way out.
Donna Dixon was hot.
Thank you.
And that is actually Dan Aykroyd's real wife.
Dan Aykroyd is a lucky man. Donna Dixon.
Of course. Wow.
Are you making fun of me?
Can I have a minute alone?
Give me a break.
Spies Like Us is the perfect 80s comedy where it's just funny enough.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. It's a dickfer. What's a dickfer? To pee with.
But not really that funny.
Not a lot of comic gold there.
Coming up, it's Rocky versus the Russian. And one shocking end.
What, did you think Rocky was going to get back in shape and go train in the snow? Was he going to lose?
Next on I Love the 80s 3D, 1985. But first, craving some 3D bonus material and 80s ringtones? Then log on to VH1.com. Make sure to check out V-Spot. Guilty, not guilty of 1985.
The less than honorable Harry Anderson presiding. Defendant, Tipper Gore and the PMRC. Charge, third-degree righteousness. Tipper and friends managed to make lewd, profanity-laced music even more appealing to kids. All it took was a big parental advisory sticker on the dirty albums. Verdict, totally guilty. Sentence, marriage to Al Gore, with no chance of parole. Court of 1985 is now in recess.
Rocky IV was Rocky versus the Russian.
There's this new phenom, Ivan Drago.
Drago is a look at the future.
I played Ivan Drago. He was a Soviet machine of destruction.
Drago is a meme.
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
He was the most intimidating Russian guy I've ever seen in my life.
I was born in Sweden, actually.
I'm afraid for my husband's life.
Brigitte Nielsen is some kind of scientist bitch. That's his girlfriend. Science!
She seems more like Flavor Flav material to me.
She went from Ivan Drago to Stallone to rapper. Wow, she's really moving up in the world.
Pops.
Come on, get your hands up, man. You need an interpreter? It's time to go to school.
You will lose. You know, things are bad. When somebody says, hey, Apollo, you don't want to get in the ring with him, he goes, no, it'll be fine.
Be back in a minute, all right?
And he was just getting beat down.
It's killing you. I gotta stop this thing. No, stop this fight. No matter what.
Everybody in the movie theater was crying like, oh, God.
He didn't just knock Creed out, he kills him. Go to damn town!
I cried like a baby when Apollo Creed died.
The Russian kills Apollo Creed.
I just died on your arms tonight.
Carl Weathers is dead! He's dead!
I felt a little sorry for the guy. He's a nice guy.
My favorite line in the whole movie is when Drago was just like, if he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies.
To avenge the death of Apollo Creed, Ivan Drago must go down.
We fight in Soviet Union, or we fight nowhere. We go!
Rocky, to get into the head of the Russians, hauls his ass over to Siberia and trains old school.
One of the best training sequences you'll ever see.
It was Rocky training out in the cold,
Lifting sticks, throwing stones, running in the snow.
And he ran up the hill with the logs strapped around his neck.
Pulling ox carts. He's old school, he's doing it the old-fashioned way, the American way.
Drago was in a very high-tech Russian machine-like way of training.
He was all hooked up to all these crazy, strength machines.
Showing his heart rate and blood pressure.
Show him taking steroids.
Drago was definitely a juicy.
We were teenagers. We just thought all the Russians did was pump iron and shoot steroids.
And after all this training, wearing these big-ass coats and gloves, he comes back with a tan. Looking nice.
Then they have the climatic battle. Face to face or face to chest. Because Rocky's only this tall. Drago's looking down and says, I must break you.
I must break you.
I must break you.
Hey, guess who won? Rocky.
What, did you think Rocky was going to get back in shape and go train in the snow? Was he going to lose?
It may have seemed corny at the time, but look what happened. The Russians changed, so I guess Rocky prevailed after all.